Welcome to Zombie Advisor with James Knapp, the only podcast where being undead isn't an excuse for being unresponsive. This is the space where financial advisors and clients come together to break free from the old, slow-moving reactionary system. Tune in as we shake the dust off of outdated practices, dissect what really matters to today's clients, and tap into the brains of industry leaders who are actually alive, alert, and crushing it.
Today is Tuesday, July 14th. The weather today is a steamy 94 degrees. On this day in history, the Dow Jones Industrial Average posted its biggest daily gain of 4.16% in 1930 during the Great Depression. Kind of puts it in history, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Zombie Advisor podcast, where we explore future of financial advice and ideas of leaders and innovators shaping what's next. Today's guest is special. His name is Tenner Stoe. He's a CFP and a CPWA. He's a full-blown wealth architect here at Boyum Wealth Architects. Tenner has built an impressive career helping individuals and families simplify complex financial decisions and align their wealth that matters most in their lives. He has worked at many different companies before that. So he worked at Fidelity Investments, Bernanke Wealth Management, U.S. Bancorp, and Edward Jones. He brings a unique perspective that blends technical planning expertise and a deep commitment to helping his clients make confident decisions. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is exciting. So when you were thinking about your first job in the industry, what was your first job when you were dealing with money?
Yeah. So when I came out of college, I started at Edward Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I had all the confidence in the world, hit the ground running, started knocking on doors, asking people to help them with their money.
Yes.
And I think I was 22 or 23 at the time.
Yes.
And it was a lot of responsibility to take on at that point, and I've learned a lot since then.
Yeah. If you could fog a mirror and you have $1, I'll help you.
Yes. Yep. Drive to you. Where do you want to meet? Whatever works.
Texas? Sounds good.
Yep.
All right. So you've actually been a bank teller?
Yeah.
All right. So you've been a bank teller. You worked at a broker dealer.
Yep.
You worked at an RIA.
Yes.
And now you're at another RIA.
Yes.
Were you at a hybrid RIA at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
We're hybrid. So I've run the gamut.
You've done them
on
all.
Types.
Yeah. All right. So your first job as a teller, what were you doing every day?
Yeah, so that's actually when I was in college, because I knew I wanted to get into this industry. So I figured the best way to do it was go to a bank and start working and talking to people about money. So I was a teller for a few months there.
Okay.
And that's where just doing transactions. People would come in, deposit money, give it out. Social Security checks came in. People would come withdraw their money. We were really busy with that. Within a few months, then I transitioned being a banker. So that's where I actually got to sit down and ask people like the loans they were trying to get, the questions they had around their bank accounts, or a lot of what I did was get rid of overdraft fees. The amount of people I met with that were overspending from their checking account and just drowning in fees was crazy. And so a lot of what I did was actually get those removed and help them get on track to stop getting them.
Okay.
So that's what I like most about that time at Wells Fargo was really getting to help people understand what they were doing and help them get on a better path.
Okay, so your first job was a teller, and then you got promoted, and then you started doing what I call planning light.
Yes.
Okay, so then you decide to graduate. Now you're going to Edward Jones.
Yep.
So what happens at Edward Jones?
So that's where, when I was at Wells Fargo, I thought about doing their advisor training program, and the advisors there actually recommended I go to Edward Jones. They recommended it's a great program to learn about how to do at least basic financial planning and just be able to hit the ground running and start as a financial advisor. So that's where I did a program there that was designed for people right out of college or young professionals that were transitioning into the industry.
Okay.
And so kind of was a mentorship program where I worked directly with another advisor, worked in his office after I got licensed. Then I was out door knocking every day.
Yep.
And so it was a mix of kind of learning from the other advisors around me, helping some of their clients that they were, helping transition to me.
Okay.
And then, but most of it was just door knocking.
Amazing. So then you leave Edward Jones, and where'd you go?
Then I went to U.S. Bancorp Investments.
Okay.
So that was right before COVID at this point. So I was in an internal center that helped the branches, the bank branches for the advisors. There weren't enough advisors in the branches to help everybody. So then we were in a centralized area to actually help a lot of the clients out in the branches, which was great. I was able to learn a lot, learn how to help people across the country, not just in my local area, and learn from a lot of colleagues that have been doing it a long time. So I really, with there, really got to do a lot more financial planning at that time, even more than I did at Edward Jones. But then COVID happened, and we slowed down.
Yeah.
People weren't coming into branches.
COVID changed everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So now so basically, if I understand this correctly, you were in transaction. Edward Jones was kind of transactional.
Yes.
And then US Bancorp was
it was a
more
mix. We would do financial planning for people, but it was still more of a transactional, you have this account. How do you want to help manage it? We can help manage that for you.
Got it. So you were doing rollovers and
yeah,
kind of annuity
a lot
sales.
of retirement accounts,
Okay.
no annuities
Okay.
so much, but a lot of just getting them into the managed accounts that then were US Bancorp was managing.
Got it. So then you left there and went to Bernanke.
I left US Bancorp, went to Fidelity.
Okay, that's right.
So Fidelity Investments is where I got my first experience dealing with like higher net worth families and individuals and executives with employer compensation and those different structures.
Sure.
So I was very fortunate to work on a team with advisors there that worked with the most complex cases in the branch.
Okay.
Using eMoney, the software we use here, and then really getting to go deep on financial planning for these individuals and families.
Okay, so you're doing like strategic diversification of stock options.
Yeah.
Some more cash flow analysis, some more tax analysis.
Not so much in the tax side.
Okay.
So that was where you have limitations on how much we can really talk about taxes at that point. And, really, so that was kind of an area we didn't go too far into. We'd look at income planning for retirees, but not too much on the specific tax planning.
Okay, that makes sense. Did you do advanced estate planning there?
Yeah, we actually had an advanced estate planning team that I worked with pretty closely because they were based out of Chicago, the gentleman I worked with. And because we had some of the most complex clients, they then would work with him. So it was somebody that dropped their license. They were an attorney, had to drop their license, however that works. Then they worked internally to give that advice.
Okay, so then you worked hand in hand with an attorney. They weren't drafting documents, or were
No, they weren't, because they had to drop their degree or however that works. They couldn't draft documents, but they could review documents and give advice on kind of structures that make sense. And then we would still refer out to attorneys in the area.
Okay. So you're still working with attorneys to get the estate plan done. You're not doing in-house tax planning.
No.
So you're doing financial planning. Were you doing insurance reviews?
A little bit, but not much.
All right.
With the tax on the insurance side, we didn't do a whole lot with that.
So it was mostly, again, investments and cash flow management.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Then you go to Bernanke. Then what happens?
Yeah, that's where I really started focusing only on meeting with kind of pre and post retirees. Most of my clients were about 55 and up, very few clients under that, where we really were focusing on that transition to retirement. And that's where we did go into tax planning, income planning, insurance reviews, estate planning, kind of running kind of all of the different areas of financial planning then when we'd meet with people.
Got it. Yeah. Now you end up at Boyum. So you've been here, 9 months?
Yeah, sounds right.
About 9 months, I think, is when I looked at it the other day.
Yeah.
It felt fast for me. I don't know if it felt fast for you.
I can't believe it's been that long.
I know, right? And so when we talk about zombie advisors, when you're limited what you can do for your clients, you're not an intentional zombie, but you are a zombie, is the way I look at it. Now, you can say, hey, you should go talk to somebody to do something. There's an area of expertise that you need to go talk to this person about. But in some ways, you're only pigeonholed to what you can do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you have the full breadth of taxes. You can do full comprehensive financial planning. You can help your clients in a lot of different areas, right? Talk to me about like what a client's going to experience when they have pre-retirees. Like, what are they going to go through? What are you dealing with specifically?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So when I meet with a pre-retiree, one of the first questions I always ask is, have you worked with somebody before?
Right.
Do you even know how to think about your goals or what you want to do next or when retirement would be for you? So really just getting an understanding of where they're at right now, how comfortable they are with that retirement conversation, on if they're even willing to think of setting a date.
Right.
Or if they're just from scratch going, we've worked our whole lives. We've never really talked to anybody. We know we've been saving and investing, but we don't know what's next.
Right. What we can and can't do.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really focusing on, what are the priorities to them? What are their goals? Really understanding what they want, maybe helping them understand how they figure that out. Like, how do you determine what's next? So that then we can go through the process of really figuring out, are you on track to achieve those goals?
Right.
So first step is just, are you on track right now for at least the goals we've started talking about?
Right. Retirement, education, savings for grandkids sometimes. Is my estate plan in order?
Yeah, which the estate plan, we know in Minnesota, a lot of time isn't in order.
Never.
Especially these last few years with the market returns that we've seen. net worths have grown a lot more than anybody expected.
Right.
It's become a lot bigger problem.
It's a bigger issue or opportunity.
Opportunity, yes.
And then you look at building an IPS for them. So then you run their risk tolerance questionnaire, run that through eMoney. I mean, oftentimes when you meet with a retail investor, they don't have any maybe international stocks whatsoever, or they're light on bonds, or they don't have, I don't know, some alternative investment that they should have in their portfolio, right?
Yeah. And I think what's really unique with especially kind of pre-retirees, especially right as they get into retirement, is I've seen people are taking way too much risk because they're still in that growth accumulation phase. And we need to help explain how, well, we need to actually take less risk to help you achieve your goals. And others that went too far the other way, thinking retirement, that means we're done.
Right.
We stop investing, we cash out, which we all know isn't how we do it. So
inflation's real.
Really helping them understand how much risk to take on, how much risk do they need to take on to reach their goals, but then making sure we're not taking on too much risk.
Right.
Hey, you. Yeah, you with the earbuds. Thanks for hanging out with us on Zombie Advisor. If you're digging what you're hearing right now and want more, or just want to talk shop, head over to boyumwa.com. Or hit up the show notes for links to all the good stuff. Let's talk.
So now you can do tax planning.
Yes.
Which is exciting.
And partnering with the CPA so closely, that adds that extra level to that plan, because we can work with them, we can do the projections, but then being able to go talk to one of the CPAs and say, okay, here's what we found. You're doing their tax returns. Can you make sure that everything looks accurate? We're not missing something. Like they didn't forget to tell us about an income source, or a future, we didn't account for some, capital gain or something that happened that, maybe it was before we were helping them.
No, I know. I got referred to a case yesterday, and the guy has an oil and gas. Actually, it's a refinery. It's a refinery that they collect income from North Dakota every year.
Okay.
I know, right?
Interesting.
It was an ethanol investment their grandfather invested into that turned into kind of an ethanol plant refinery. And they get about $40,000 a year from something that's worth about $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So they get that in Social Security and they're kind of fine. And so they have all these other properties and other investments. And they're like, what are we going to do with all this stuff?
Yeah.
They just don't even know.
Question. Yeah.
At the end of the day, we all die and we all have to pay taxes. So those are two things we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
And figuring out what do you want to do or what can you do. I'd say that, a lot of time we work with clients that have saved very diligently and have lived below their means their entire lives. And so that doesn't change when you get to retirement.
No.
You're not all of a sudden spending more, living lavishly or compared to the life you were before. So really helping people understand what they can do for themselves or their family that's the really fun part.
That's the
best showing part. Like you're on track to achieve the goals we've already talked about.
Right.
And here's what else you could do based on what you've shared is kind of maybe dreams that are actually reality.
It is. Yeah. You can take first class trips. You can go on a Vikings cruise. You can do whatever you want to do.
Bring the family.
Yeah. Take the family with you. Create experiences.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yes.
That's the most fun.
And that's when you can see them light up.
Yes.
And we've had clients even this last year of talking about even gifting to their family, helping their kids buy a house and things that and then they act on.
Yeah.
And when you see somebody actually act on it, it's amazing.
It was, it happened faster than we thought.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
All right. Take me through some of your zombie experiences that you've had prior to this. Like whatever experience that you've ever seen where somebody was a complete zombie.
Yeah. I've had a lot of these just in my interactions with, I've spent a lot of time meeting with new clients or people that were looking for advisors. And so first one that comes to mind was a prospective client had shown up in my office. They were looking for help with retirement planning because they'd gone to their current advisor and said, we're retiring. They have a few $1 million in an IRA account, plus some other assets. They went, what can we do around taxes to minimize our taxes?
Right.
And their advisor said, nothing.
Nothing.
Literally told them, there's nothing we can do. You're going to pay the taxes you're going to pay. We don't need to change anything.
That would be a zombie.
Yeah. Didn't go into the income plan, just looked at, here's the investments we have. And then when you need income, let me know.
No Roth conversion.
Nothing. Not even just a plan of where you take from or how much income you can have, any of that. So I know. And they're going to underspend. They were going to spend far less than they could.
Yeah.
And so their accounts were going to continue to grow. We were going to have future estate tax issues, or Minnesota estate tax issues, at least.
Right.
Or required minimum distribution issues.
Right.
You figure out how to get money to their kids and just live the life they want to live.
Right.
Get to the cabin when they want to, do the traveling they want because their kids were all over the country and
they want to visit.
Yeah.
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 Nothing.
Nothing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That would be a zombie.
Yeah. So all I had to say was there are things we can do.
Yeah. A lot of things
Yes.
we can do.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of funny. One of the things that I've noticed about you is you actually take the time to understand your clients' needs. And you really want to understand what their goals and dreams are. And you do take a lot of time to actually understand that with people.
Yeah.
That's a gift I think most people don't really have. I think everybody in this industry wants to help people. I think that's first and foremost. Everybody in this industry gets in this industry because they actually want to help people.
Yeah.
Understanding how to help people is the difficult part, and what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
So you're limited in the broker dealer world where we can't do this because the box won't allow us to do it.
Yes.
In a hybrid world, you can have the box and the open space to explore whatever you want to, but you're still limited because you have a broker dealer that's still in the room. Yeah. The registered investment advisor world is a true fiduciary duty that we have to our clients to give them the best advice for what their goals are with their resources to make sure that they can do the right thing. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
That is a difficult thing because you are operating under the fiduciary responsibility that you have for that client.
Yeah. And that's a big reason why I went into the RIA space.
Mm-hmm.
I did it in a hybrid version before. And so then I learned the downsides and the limitations there. But when I was at Fidelity, I saw great advisors.
Yep.
That couldn't do what they wanted to do for clients, couldn't help them the way they wanted to, whether it was capacity, having to help too many people,
right,
or the restrictions of not being able to talk about certain things.
Right.
And so great advisors with great intentions that couldn't. Yeah. And a lot of them have gone to the RIA space now.
Yeah, you can see there's a migration. I just think it's funny that you started at the very bottom of a bank teller.
Yeah.
And then worked your entire career through that whole migration and then ended up on the fiduciary side.
Yes. And I mean, you always wish you knew things sooner, but I knew nobody in the industry.
No.
I knew I wanted to do this, but no family, no friends, nobody was in it. So all I had was what was in front of me.
Yes.
Go to Wells Fargo, get a job, figure out how to become an advisor, take the advice. So it took me longer than I would have liked to get to where I wanted to be, but you learn a lot along the way.
Yeah, I think actually understanding how a bank operates.
Yeah.
Looking at loans.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Understanding how investments come together, understanding how taxes play in, understanding how estate plan, understanding risk. What it truly means to transfer risk, not just property casualty, but life, health, long-term care, all the risks that we have, right?
And understanding what's missing when you don't do that. Because that's what I've seen. I've seen where we're doing as much as we can, but we're still missing those pieces. So when you've been able to always do it all, you don't always understand what other people can't or aren't doing.
I did.
So you can assume, well, yeah, you might, but people will assume that maybe they're getting more or other advisors are doing more than they are. But being able to see what actually happens at a lot of places, you can see where the opportunity is to do better.
Yeah, I think it's just a comprehensive plan doesn't leave holes. Is the way I try to think about it. We try to look at all aspects of that client's life through the lens of maybe a fresh perspective, but I like to say that we're history students and unemotional.
Yeah.
Like a coach. So you just get to look at it and be like, well, we can do this better. And here's how we get there.
Yeah.
An example would be met with a guy yesterday, wants to retire early, mid 50s, had about $5 million, all qualified.
Wow.
All non-qualified went into their house. And I was like, why didn't you take a mortgage?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I just wanted to pay it off. I was like, that's cool, but now you're just limiting yourself in the future. And he's like, what do you mean by that? I was like, well, sometimes a mortgage is actually not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Even if you have all the money to pay it off.
Yeah. But that's where the tax plan comes in.
Correct. But they don't really think about that. And now they're setting up an LLC so they could do pass-through entity tax planning. And now they're going to get another W-2 job. So it's dual income, parents, special needs trust is involved, multiple states.
It's a lot of complexity.
A lot of complexity, but they made it as simple as possible. And he's like, I already did my plan. It was basically an Excel spreadsheet with rates of return and then minor inflation. And the expenses were inflated across the board. I was like,
yeah.
There's this thing called Monte Carlo simulation, and we could run a statistical analysis on this to see if we're actually within tolerance of this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but the market doesn't always go up 10% every year.
No. And people think it does.
I know. Well, he said for the last 20 years it's gone up. And I was like, that's true, but it was actually March of 2009. So it's been 17 if we're really keeping score.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know if you remember 2011. If you look at 2019, there's been some major pullbacks in the market. COVID. It was very short, but it was like down. I don't remember what it was.
But we didn't know it was going to be short. That's the thing. Hindsight,
right?
It's an easy decision. At those moments, I was talking to clients. You were talking to clients, trying to talk them off a ledge. Don't make a bad decision. But we didn't know it was going to come back so quick.
No, if the Fed hadn't stepped in, it would have been a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy. The uncertainty of certainty, or certainty of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the unknown is the thing we're planning for.
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing. I don't know. Thank you very much for being on today. This was so fun.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I thought it was great. One of our themes that stood out in the conversation is like financial advice isn't always the products and portfolios alone. Yeah. It's the relationships that we have with our clients, and you do a great job of that. Thanks for listening to Zombie Advisor today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share it with fellow advisors or friends. Please remember to like and subscribe anywhere you find your podcast, and like our YouTube channel. Until next time, stay curious, keep innovating, and don't become a zombie.
Thanks for listening to the Zombie Advisor with James Knapp. Don't forget to hit that follow button so you never miss an episode. Want to learn more? Visit us at boyumwa.com, BOYUMWA.com, or give us a call at 651-289-6444. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Boyum Wealth Architects. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional investing advice. Always consult your financial advisor or other qualified service providers with any questions you may have regarding your personal investment planning.